Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Toy Fair 2020 is officially behind us. It's been behind us for a couple of days now. I do apologize for putting out this video a tad bit late, but this time around, as opposed to catch-up season, that was actually deliberate. We had quite a few surprises this year from NECA and from Mezco as well, and you know, I wanted a couple days off to kind of marinate with the news and really, you know, I guess determine how I feel about each of these figures before I just jump into a thoughts on video, because a lot of the stuff that I was originally excited for, I'm not as excited for now, because, you know, the whole Toy Fair season gets in your head, gets you excited. But before we get into the video properly, before I, you know, give you my thoughts on all of the new reveals, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, folks. Second year in a row that I'm wrong about two things. One of which I actually get, alright? I get the whole Wolf Predator thing. I get Pred Alien, even though there have been leaks that, yeah, they're coming out next year. I wouldn't have been surprised if we didn't see them at Toy Fair. And we didn't see them at Toy Fair. But, you know, it's come to a point with Wolf Predator and Pred Alien where I know we'll get it eventually, and I can be patient with it. However, I'm talking about you, Mr. Randy, teasing us all a year about this. Super Predators. I 100% expected to see Super Predators this year. It's, I believe it is, yeah, it's the 10th anniversary of the 2010 film, and I get that they were already showing so much that they were going to show practically the entire Lost Tribe, or at least announce the entire Lost Tribe. I get that, but I thought we would have seen something from Predators, the Super Predators. I really am shocked, considering people actually knew people in the company and asked people at the company and then relayed the message to me on social media and whatnot, saying that the Super Predators are coming this year. And I really expected to see them at Toy Fair. When I went to bed that night, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna see some Super Predators. Might not see Wolf Predator, I might not see Pred Alien. I'm okay with that because, again, I get it. But Super Predator, wow. I cannot tell you how much I wanted to see an Ultimate Berserker or a Falconer or a Tracker, considering they have, or they've been working on the molds with Alpha Predator and whatnot. But that is the case, ladies and gentlemen. No Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, and no 2010 Predators film line. That's that. Alright. If anybody is new to the channel, I recommend checking out the Toy Fair 2020 Alien Predator predictions video I put out about a week ago, because basically everything I'm going to talk about now is based off solely that video. But alright, let's do it. I know, I'm still thinking about Super Predators. I really wanted to see them, god damn it. Okay, let's get into the reveals. Shoot me. Alrighty, first one up is the alternate version of Assassin Predator from 2018's The Predator. I gotta tell you, this was probably the most unexpected and surprising Predator reveal at Toy Fair this year. Probably even more so than last year. When I woke up that morning and saw this figure pop up on my feed, the first thing I thought was they're doing an arcade version of Assassin Predator. I mean, okay, I could see them doing some main Predators from the films in arcade style to fit with the 1994 line, but why start with Assassin Predator? And then it hit me. No, this is not at all an arcade figure, but based off the paint that they showed off for this guy, he might as well should be. Now, for people who don't know, this particular figure is based off a scene in that film, The Predator from 2018, that literally lasts for less than 10 seconds. Right before Assassin Predator puts on his skin armor, which is green, and that's usually the color we're used to seeing him in, he has a very almost mix of yellow and beige of skin color. Because, you know, under the skin armor, he's just like any other predator. He just happens to be really, really tall, right? But underneath, regular skin, and he happens to be yellow. That's basically it. And I gotta tell you, this figure, and I talked about this on social media, does not represent that scene very well at all. First things first is why does this guy look like Homer Simpson? The color is completely off. I get it. We mainly see the assassin predator at night, and yeah, he might be brighter yellow in the daytime, but even so, he would not be a Simpson character. NECA, you really need to fix the paint. Way too bright. Way too bright. And like I mentioned earlier, might as well be an arcade figure. Second thing that's wrong with the figure, he's not supposed to have skin armor. Right now it's a simple repaint of the Assassin Predator that we got a couple months ago, with all those, you know, ridges and bumps all over the body to, you know, I guess symbolize that he's a really armored predator and whatnot. But my hope is that this is just I guess a teaser, and that they're going to return to the figure, fix the paint, and remove the skin armor so it can actually be movie accurate. And honestly, I think they will do that. NECA usually pretty much is spot on with movie accuracy. They really are spot on. It's hard to identify any one of their figures that has a fatal flaw when it comes to accuracy to the source material, but I still wanted to make note of it, give some clarification on, you know, if people are still confused and whatnot. But yeah, that's why he was so surprising, just because of those two things. Way too bright of a color and the skin armor. But it sounds like, and I said this on social media, it sounds like I'm hating on the figure. I'm actually really not. I've talked with several folks, again, on social media and in the comments and whatnot, and that, you know, besides it obviously not being completely movie accurate, it's still a cool color, right? We definitely don't have a Predator that's this bright yellow unless you count Wasp and a handful of others, so I'll tell you this much, it'll definitely stand out on the shelf. And I'm saying that with all, you know, completionist thoughts aside, because I am, for people who are new to the channel, I'm a completionist, I'm a lore builder, but in all honesty, it really does look like a cool Predator. It really does, and I do hope that they go back and fix those things. And it's going to be an Ultimate release. You can see the box in the background, which is currently the same as the previous one. And of course he's going to come with the closed mandibles, head, and I'm sure wrist blades and the little cannon launcher on his forearm and the whole 9 yards. But there's currently no release date on this guy. He didn't even have a plaque with his name on it, just to be determined. And one thing that popped in my head was, is it possible they may not even go through with this figure? Because that's happened in the past. They've teased a variety of figures that didn't get the attention they were seeking, and they just ended up either postponing it or completely trashing the idea. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. So just because we're on the topic of that film, and I made a whole video about this before, but we finally got to see the box art version or variant of the Ultimate Fugitive Predator on display. I'm really not going to spend too much time on this, since again I made a whole video about it. Go check it out, try to remember and put a link down below. But he looks cool. It's much clearer now. He has a lot more black shading than I thought he would, and the color is definitely more of a purple than it is a blue. But it's actually it looks a lot better in person. It really does. It's a very pretty figure, and I can see if you weren't on board with that teaser image that you would be on board now, because again, the color it's very classy looking, you know? It's very classy looking. And he's going to have the white LED lights, and he's going to be, you know, kind of like the older Predators on, you know, on the card and whatnot. Not an ultimate, just a carded figure. So very cool looking. And one thing I'm noticing now, he actually does not have a wrist gauntlet on his left arm, and he has 2 wrist blades on the right. That makes me wonder if he's going to come packaged like that, or if he's just not going to include a left gauntlet at all. I can't remember if he had or didn't have a gauntlet on the box. Definitely correct me down in the comments, because again, I haven't taken a look at the box in a hot minute, and I don't really remember that video too well. But a very cool looking Predator, and you know me, I'll definitely pick it up. Since we are still on the theme of Predators, we'll do Aliens next. Let's talk about the Predator 2 reveals. So, before I get into the Warrior, the Scout, and the Lost Predator, I want to talk about the trophy wall that you see in the background. NECA did go out on Twitter recently before Toy Fair and basically said that we're not certain that we're going to re-release the trophy wall. We're going to determine how much demand it has. If enough people want it and will, you know, shell out money to buy it, then they will re-release it. Because here at Toy Fair, it was kind of a misconception. Everybody thought, including myself for a time, that this is part of the reveals, whereas it was just a background piece, kind of like they do with all their other dioramas. So it's not certain yet, but based off the buzz that this trophy wall has gotten on social media, and on Twitter, of course, because that's where Randy is mainly, I can pretty much guarantee that we will see a re-release of this. If not this year, then next year. Now let's check out those Lost Tribe members. If you are new to the game or new to the channel, NECA is coming back to Predator 2, specifically the Lost Tribe scene from the end of that film when there was like 8 or 9 Predators all in the same shot picking up the body of Ghost or City Hunter. They are coming back to those figures, which they did do quite a few years ago, you know, probably 8 years ago by now, and they're making ultimate versions of each. Alright? They are even making head sculpts for extra head sculpts for each of them, since some Predators in that scene, some of them had masks and some of them didn't have masks. So for those that did, they're making unmasked sculpts. For those that were unmasked in the scene, they're making masks, which is brilliant. Plus, they're giving them brand new weapons that weren't even in the movie, like an axe and a mace and a sword and all this crazy stuff, a rifle and whatnot. It's amazing. But let's talk about Warrior Predator here, because I think he's definitely one of the more unique looking members of the Lost Tribe. He's certainly one of my more preferred designs. Now here you can tell he does come with a giant ass axe, which is laying on the ground there. He comes with a mace, which is flippin' cool, all made to reflect the designs of the film and of the Predators. And he comes with 2 smart discs, a combi stick, which isn't even your typical combi stick, actually. It's more of almost like a spear, like a medieval spear or something, or a tribal spear. And he comes with a plasma caster blast effect, like the Predator or City Hunter Predator, only a blue color. And of course, a lot of this is going to look familiar. They're taking pieces of the original Warrior Predator they did some time ago, and they're just adding more articulation to it. Like I said in my Lost Tribe video, please go, check that out if you want to. It'll give a lot of more clarification than I'm giving now. But basically, the molds back then, as far as being movie accurate, were pretty much perfect. Sure, some of them, didn't have, perfect paint, as in not completely movie accurate, cough cough elder Predator, and they didn't have the articulation that most Predators do now, but they were on par. And they were so on par that they are still being used this many years later, and it's still perfect. So I really do dig the Ultimate Body. I can't wait to get my hands on this guy, and more importantly, I can't wait to see the unmasked sculpt for this guy, because he is definitely he's like an aquatic predator almost, right? So I'm pretty gosh darn curious to see what they come up with an unmasked design. That'd be pretty cool. And this guy, he's not getting the love that he deserves right now. You know, Scout Predator, Lost Predator, they're on pre-order right now. They're getting the attention, but I didn't forget about you, Warrior Predator. You're still cool. So the design for this video is actually going to be a little bit different than what you guys are expecting, because Lost Predator and Scout Predator, like I mentioned before, have been already put on pre-order, which was quick. They were put on pre-order the day they were revealed at Toy Fair. So welcome to 2 more thoughts on videos inside a thoughts on video. Let us start with Lost Predator. He is slated for a release of July 2020, which is basically around the corner. We're in late February, about to approach March, and priced at $30, and of course he is going to be an ultimate release just like the Warrior. Lost Predator is probably one of the coolest Predator designs out there. Now, a couple of years ago, and I say a couple, it's been a while, when they did their Lost Predator, they actually originally did not give him a mask. He was carded just with his unmasked sculpt, just like in the film. Later on, NECA returned to the sculpt, or to the mold rather, and they released another Lost Predator that was battle armored, basically. So here you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can have him as he was in the movie, or have him fully armored with the mask they designed specifically for the figure, which again fits with the theme of the whole, you know, Predator 2 lore, or design, I mean. And it's a very, very pretty figure. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is the head sculpt, which is actually a reuse of the City Hunter, which was kind of surprising. I kind of like the original Lost Predator sculpt that they did some years ago, but they wanted to, I guess, upgrade it a little bit, you know, use the Ultimate City Hunter to kind of mess with, and I think it turned out really, really nice. I flippin' adore the paint job they gave this guy. All that armor and the flippin' wear and tear on the armor, it's crazy looking. You got this giant ass flaming sword that he's wielding right here, which came with the last one too. I especially like this photo here, like this samurai-esque one. It's so awesome looking. You got the LED lights for the biomask, and he has a very glossy shimmer to him. Very pretty figure, and the paint is definitely on par. He had a very reptilian-like skin color with, you know, those stripes of green on his legs and on his arms, and really cool looking. Man, that head sculpt is so flippin' cool. And I'm especially excited for those LED lights, because it works so well with the Fugitive Predator, and it's gonna work again with him. And I'm glad they're giving him LEDs, because it definitely fits his character, tell you that much. So yeah, he's going to come with 2 head sculpt, unmasked, masked, a sword, a shuriken, and 2 extra hands for those accessories. And I cannot tell you how much I want this figure. I love the Lost Predator so much. He's such a badass looking Predator. He doesn't even do anything in the movie. He just walks around, you know, he's kicked ass. Alright? You know, he could probably take on Elder Predator if he wants. I mean, just look at the guy. Absolutely beautiful, and you got to admit the guy who does toy photography for this knows what he's doing. So, just look at that head sculpt. You got the eyes and everything. The mandibles are painted so well. The beads on the dreads and everything. And much like Warrior, they definitely reused a lot from the last Lost Predator, but it's still perfect. It really is. So, slated for July 2020, again, $30, an ultimate release. They didn't even show off the packaging yet, and I'm very curious that the theme they're going to give the packaging, of course, it's going to be ultimate packaging. So, you know, this year, next year is going to kill me, because I need doubles. I really, really need doubles of these guys. They're so pretty. and I have the original Lost Tribe, but I'm crazy. Y'all know that. I want to use... I'm trying not to use profanity, by the way, in this video, because it takes so much longer to edit because I do the bleeps, but I effing want this guy so bad. So July cannot come quick enough. But if that is not going to bankrupt you, this next one is the Scout Predator, the Ultimate Scout Predator. Once again from the Lost Tribe, revealed at Toy Fair, much like Lost Predator, and he is a beauty. So, $30 for August 2020. I gotta wait a little bit longer with this guy, but it's not too bad, and it's definitely gonna be worth the wait. I mean, take a look at this guy. I love the paint they use for the mask. I'm gonna keep saying this, they reuse parts from the old one, but it still works. It's just a very, very nice looking Predator. And look at that rifle that he comes with. Isn't that thing crazy? It's practically bigger than him. What are they even calling this rifle? Let's see. The Long Range Blaster Rifle. Okay, that's a name, alright. But again, what I really like about this weapon is that it fits the theme of Predator 2. You know, they did a really good job with creating new materials and new masks and sculpts, because it all fits with that theme. And he definitely looks very, very cool with it, and I'm glad this rifle came with the Scout Predator, because it kind of goes with the name, right? I mean, a scout, they're scouting the area. They're usually scouts have rifles who are scoping out the area, right? So it definitely works with the character. Surprisingly, this guy is getting so much hate for his sculpt. I gotta tell ya. Look at these memes right here that I found on Twitter and on Facebook. A lot of memes for this guy. People hate his unmasked head, and I don't know why. It's one of those things where not every Predator is gonna look the same. Some are ugly, and some are messed up in the face, just like this guy. And he's actually based, I found this out on Twitter, a guy actually, we were in, you know, a whole group of us were in a conversation. This is based off the original concept art for Fugitive Predator, and he had these kind of, I guess, caveman-esque mandibles that were just, or not even caveman, it's so odd looking. You have two mandibles kind of, I'm looking at the picture, kind of poking into his eyeballs, and then little ones down here that are not symmetrical. They're kind of crisscrossed and whatnot. He is messed up looking, but I personally love it. I really, really do love it, and I'm glad that they kind of tapped into some of that concept art for the Predator, because it definitely works with him. But, of course, there's a lot of hate out there, more than I've seen in the community, but what can you do? I think it works with the character. Really good paint was used. The sculpt itself is really well done. I think they did a good job. Not just design, just the actual sculpt. And, you know, he look at that. I mean, look at this shot when he's aiming down the sights. That's so cool looking. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of a Gamorrean guard from Star Wars. That's what he reminds me of. I don't know why I was thinking caveman. But, yeah, so he is the Gamorrean guard of the Predators. And so cool looking. So cool. You got the dreads there, a little bit shorter than we're used to, kind of slicked back. And, yeah, so he comes with the 87 inspired biomask. 2 smart discs, just like the other one. One's kind of active, the other one is dormant. 2 hands, plasma caster, blast effect in red, the rifle, and I can't tell what that other thing is. That's some kind of like med kit, probably for his back or whatever, his backpack, but a very, very cool Predator. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well this one turned out. He's really cool looking, and he's even better now that he has an ultimate treatment. All that articulation. It's brilliant. And again, slated for August 2020, priced at $30. Prepare your wallets, because it's about to go down. Okay, so those are the ones that have been put on pre-order. Let me know down below if you're going to be pre-ordering those, or if you already did, or if you're going to wait to see them at a Target or another retailer or a comic shop or whatever. Typically, that's what I do. I'll wait, but you know, I'm picking them up, and in doubles. So, you know, shoot me in my wallet, right? I might as well donate the thing. But yeah, both of those figures got a lot of attention at the con. Basically, the whole Predator 2 display with the trophy wall and Warrior definitely got a lot of buzz, especially on social media. People taking pictures of it from basically every single angle, and you know, they really brought it home this year with Predator 2. They're taking the anniversary just as seriously as the 40th anniversary of Alien. That should tell you how cool NECA is, you know, because obviously Predator 2 isn't as, I guess, well known or as popular as the first Alien by Ridley Scott. That's kind of set the baseline, right? But they're really giving true fans of the franchise and of the lore what they want this year. And if the rest of the Lost Tribe are going to be like Lost Predator and Scout and Warrior, I really am going to donate my wallet, okay? It's a sad reality, but look, if we're going to get a whole Lost Tribe of Ultimate Predators, yikes, okay? And like I mentioned, doubles, okay? Because a lot of people are actually doing that, but it was a very, very strong year for Predator by NECA. Still don't understand the hatred towards Scout. People really went nuts on him. Again, I liked it. It's unique, something different that we are definitely not used to, and it definitely fits with the theme, right? Considering they got it straight from the concept art fugitive, it's pretty cool. But what about Alien? I mentioned 79, right? 1979. Where is the love? Right here. We are flipping getting Ash. We are getting Ash from the original Alien. I had a small fear that they weren't going to go through with him, even though they basically said that they were going to show him off at Toy Fair by teasing the actor's name. But I am so happy we're getting Ash, and no, he is not going to be this scale. Because I know when Alpha Predator was shown at this scale, everybody thought he was going to be quarter scale. No, usually when NECA shows off figures at this size, it even says not actual size on the plaque, they're going to be scaled down. But it looks exactly like Ian Holm. I gotta tell you, it looks exactly like him from 1979. I really do like the accessory he comes with, the decapitated version that, you know, Ripley reactivates, or I forget who actually reactivated. It may have been Lambert or Parker or somebody, but that is such a cool accessory, covered in all that creepy milk blood and whatnot. Very cool looking. Almost makes me wish we get like a table with all those tentacles and ooze with the body attached and everything, which, you know, if we are getting an Ash figure, that is a very real possibility of a fully battle damaged Ash from the film. But if you look closely at this figure, he comes with the dirty magazine. Isn't that so cool? One of the most famous scenes from the film is when Ash is trying to suffocate Ripley by stuffing a dirty rolled up magazine down her flippin' throat. I was watching the director's commentary for the film, and basically Ridley Scott was saying the reason Ash is doing this apparently is because that's how he expresses arousal as an android. So there you go, the more you know, folks. But I'm very happy we are getting this figure. It definitely makes this 40th anniversary line all the more worth it. Okay? Finally, we've done it. We have the complete Nostromo team from 1979's Alien. Basically, I think this marks the second complete team that NECA's done, because technically maybe Drake and Gorman are an exception, but the 86 Aliens team was complete for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of characters, there's more that you know, that had very small roles, and of course we need Apone, but for the most part it was complete. But this really is complete. We got the whole team. However, that isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, folks out there in the community. Look, it's actually happening. They actually got his rights. I mean, they got John Hurt, right? Or, yeah, they got John Hurt. How is that? I don't know how Randy pulled that one off, because they've been trying to get that for years. But we are getting a re-release of the spacesuit version of Kane with an alternate head, which of course comes with the likeness of John Hurt. And of course that's how everybody's going to display him. But you do have the option of having him with the face hugger and the melted helmet. But it's all about the John Hurt head sculpt. And like Ash, this comes with a real possibility that we might get Chestburster Ash, or I'm sorry, Chestburster Kane, or a Kane, you know, lying on the table in his white t-shirt and whatnot. It's a real possibility now. Or just Kane in his regular Nostromo gear, right? So, yes, it's done. Ash and flippin' Kane. Finally. Thank you, NECA. And, you know, y'all got your problems with them QCs, but this makes it worth it. Okay? Randy, good sir, I'll never meet you because I'm afraid of you, but I'm shaking your hand because he really did work his butt over trying to get the likenesses of Ian Holm and John Hurt. And I gotta tell you, John Hurt is not an easy one to get. So props to you, Randy, and the NECA team, because you really did it. But the actual likeness to John Hurt is really, really good. It might be, you know, when I look at this, I thought the head was a little bit too big, I suppose, but it's not too bad. I think it just looks that way because he has the helmet on. Well, I'll have to see it in person. It might just look big because of the ear, you know, the puffs around his ears. Kind of like the Princess Leia type of ears, because it's Nostromo gear, but it definitely looks like it. I'll give it that. And it's, you know, it's a prototype, definitely not final, but yeah, it's part of Assortment 3, and it will be arriving in Q4 of this year. So there you go. Those are the other 3 figures. And yeah, basically everything else shown at Toy Fair. I mean, we got to see the box, the ultimate box for Alpha Predator. I mean, we already knew what it was going to look like with them showing you know, the poster off in general, or the artwork on social media, but definitely a cool box. And of course they showed Alpha Predator with it, and they showed Parker and Brett, who we also got to take a look at a little bit before, you know, with all those teasers. But those were the 2 main players for Alien so far, and we're about to get into, you know, of course, like I mentioned, Brett and Parker and the new big chap, but these were definitely the highlights, I gotta tell you. But returning to Big Bad Toy Store, much like Scout Predator and Lost Predator, Parker, Brett, and a newly painted Ultimate Big Chap have been put on pre-order. Now, this is, it's sold as a set of 3 figures, slated for a release of July 2020, and if you want all 3, it's $70. But you know, it's not like it's a 3-pack. They're going to come individually packaged in their special boxes. But I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Brett and Parker. You know, the coolest things are definitely their accessories, right? Let's actually take a look at those now. Let me pull it up. You know, basically the big thing with Parker being the cattle rod, or the cattle prod, I believe it is, right? Yeah, it's the cattle prod. That's definitely a really cool accessory that they gave him, and he also comes, of course, with the flamethrower from the film, but I thought the cattle prod was definitely a nice touch and adds to, you know, the arsenal of alien weapons that we have. So I'm pretty sure that was the last main one, right? The cattle prod. So that's definitely cool that we're getting it. And, you know, Parker, head sculpt might be a little bit off. I must say it might be a little bit off. I felt like the prototype they showed last year looked a little bit better. It's one of those things like Kane. I'll have to see in person, but look, I'm just happy we're getting a Parker. And I love the toy photography that they did for him. It's so cool. Those backgrounds, man, can we get those dioramas, please? But very, very cool figure. And I'm certainly going to pick this one up. You can't not have a Parker. I like this one where he's about to flame throw the alien. It's pretty cool looking. But yeah, brilliant Parker. Definitely the funniest member on the team. Him and Brett were basically the class clowns, and you can't have one without the other, right? Which brings us to Brett. Can we talk about this photo right here for a sec? I posted this on social media. The expression that he has when looking at the big chap, just looking into his soul, it's like he's stoned or something. It's definitely movie accurate, I'll tell you that. He was definitely a character in the film, but definitely captures the likeness of the actor quite well. And of course, you got the Hawaiian shirt and whatnot, and the hat, and you know, the jacket with all his signature badges and whatnot. Very cool. He also comes, by the way, with a cattle prod, so you'll get 2 cattle prods if you get both figures, and he also comes with the motion tracker, the giant one that Ripley's also supposed to come with. So I am very glad we're getting a Brett. Look, it's a figure we've known about for quite some time now, but I still wanted to talk a little bit about him. But the surprise was the big chap. Look at this beauty. I gotta tell you, the paintwork on her is gorgeous. There's literally no difference between this one and the 40th Ultimate that we're getting, except for one key difference, and it is an important difference: the blood. Look at the blood on the mouth and on the inner mouth, on the chest and the hands and on the upper arms and the forearms. I gotta tell you, it's really hard to get blood right sometimes on figures. It's either really blotchy or faded, or it's exaggerated, right? It's really hard to get blood down, especially on a monster. But they really did it well with this one. Look at those tiny little blotches of blood on the dome, and they even got a little bit on like that wire across his mouth, and it's this really, really nice bright red, but it's not too bright. It matches the glossy paint that they're using for her, and it's on the chest and everything. It's really gorgeous looking, and I would love a quarter scale version of this. I gotta tell you, that would be something. But they got her here paired with Brett, about to take him down, and the blood is very vibrant. It doesn't look fake. It matches the Xenomorph, and it's even a little bit on the leg, so it's not, you know, a half repaint where it's just the upper half. It is sprayed around her body, but look at the fingernails and everything. It's nuts. I don't know why I'm gushing over this one. Let me know if you are too, but when I saw this, I was really impressed. They got blood in between the ribs, and it's, you know, it's interesting because it's like, it almost looks like it's molded on the ribs, because it's like blotches and stuff kind of piling on top of each other. But it's a beautiful figure. It's gorgeous, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's so cool looking. So let me know if you geeked out over this one too, because I definitely am. And yeah, so there is Series 15 of Alien, set of 3 figures, available for pre-order for $70 if you want all 3. Not a 3-pack. They're you know, they're separate. You know, they're packaged separately with a release of July 2020. So again, much like Lost Predator, right around the corner. He is right around the corner. So I'm very excited about this. And kind of like I predicted, they showed off Drake. Again, the Kenner Homage Drake. They showed off the Kenner Homage Rhino Alien with her official packaging, which we talked about in a previous video. They showed off the Berserker and Covenant Neomorph in the form of Kenner. And I'm not really going to talk about these like Alpha. Each of them have their own specific video. So if you want to go check those out, if you're new to the channel, everything you see in this video and the past videos has some kind of video or a series of videos. So there you go. And I think that's it. I think I have covered Toy Fair 2020 from NECA. I still want to do some videos. I want to talk about the Mezco and Super 7 reveals, as well as some other stuff, but those will be at a later time. Whew, this was a long video, folks. This was a very, very long video. I want to give a big shout out to Trophy Room. Now, that sounds narcissistic, me patting myself on my own back because I created the group, but the amount of people we have on Trophy Room right now is crazy, okay? Over the weekend, everybody was talking about Toy Fair. Everybody was posting pictures and their thoughts and commenting on everybody's photos and videos, posting their own collections, talking about this figure, that figure, what they want, what they don't want, talking about hundreds of posts and comments. It was brilliant. You know, there's a difference between having a bunch of people in a group versus a bunch of people in a group who are actually participating, right, and actually want to share their collection and talk about these things. So go check out Trophy Room, an Alien Predator Facebook group created by yours truly, as I've noted, meant for Alien Predator enthusiasts like yourselves and like myself. So, you know, no limits there. Post anytime, day or night. You can live stream, post auctions, whatever, as long as it's just strictly, you know, Alien Predator related. And one rule: don't be a dick. So 365 more days until Toy Fair 2021. We got a lot to look forward to. I gotta tell you, prepare your wallets. The amount of people messaging me this past weekend on Twitter, a lot on Twitter actually, on Instagram and Facebook, and contacting me through YouTube, people talking about how their wallets are going to be destroyed, much like mine. I'm taking extra shifts this semester at school. I am. I'm taking a lot of extra shifts, I gotta tell you folks. But that's it. I'm done rambling. That's that. Look at this. I just got this. My brother found it at a swap meet, by the way. It's the 30th, it's like the 30th collection of the original Alien series. Comes with, I think one of them, it should be Outbreak, I believe. It's really cool. I have a larger version of it, but Outbreak, Lucky, Pineapple Gallery, and some Afterward. But that's really cool. That's very cool. So I'm happy to have that. It's a pretty color too. But that's that, folks. I'm out of here. This video is long enough as it is. Good job, NECA. Thank you for getting John Hurt and Ian home. Really, we do appreciate it. All right. And as always, people, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.